Hello world, my name is Richard Schneeman, and today I am looking at a performance change that I made in Rails, wanting to see if I can potentially write some tooling to make it easier to add to other projects. So here's a really simple method. Inside of Rails, it's calling a bunch of methods on array, so there's some other stuff up here that generates an array and then calls addition and subtraction, and then this is also generates an array, and then it has a addition operator, and then finally public instance methods also generates another array. And every single time you have a plus or a minus on an array, then it generates a new array, and then we call .unique .map. And as you might guess, .unique also generates a new array, and .map also generates a new array. So in this case, because we are basically just generating arrays and throwing them away, we can gain some performance benefit by mutating one of those arrays. We know it's safe to mutate because we generated it, and then we're not using the output of it. So in this case, I removed the unique and map and changed it to .unique with an exclamation point and .map with an exclamation point. So my end goal is basically to, first of all, I would love it if Ruby could figure this out for me. It's like, hey, you're generating these arrays and not keeping references to them, so we're just going to mutate it instead of generating more arrays, because array generation, object generation is expensive. Comparatively, if you're doing it in a loop, it's pretty expensive compared to, say, comparison. And array generations, the more complex your object, so an array takes more time to generate than, say, a string, or a hash also takes more time to generate than a string. And so if we can reduce those allocations, then not only can we potentially reduce memory, we can also decrease our CPU time as well. So it's kind of like a win-win. So if there's a way to auto-detect these, then and just apply that to the entire code base, that would be ideal. So that introduces me to, or let me introduce you to the idea that I had, which was to add a Rubocop performance detection. So Rubocop is a code linter. It can detect patterns in your code, and it also has a set of performance patterns. For example, it can detect if you are calling select .first as opposed to calling just detect, or find all and then first, or find all and then last. You can call .reverse .detect and then the thing. So actually in this case, calling .reverse would generate a new. Actually, does that generate a new one? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the point is that we can detect these patterns, which I've been looking into. So how I originally started off, before I decided this was kind of an interesting thing and I wanted to start recording, is I started looking at the docs, and then I found a number of cases where we were detecting something along the lines of there's something that includes enumerable, and then we call a method on it. So when I searched, I found this one where we can use detect. And I said, okay, well, I'll see how they did it. How do you even begin to write one of these things? One of the original ways I thought I was going to start out with is just going in here, raising some errors, and then running the test suite, and then seeing where those fail. I might still do that, but in addition, I'm going to, just by kind of reading through the code, and having a little bit of prior knowledge of Rubocop internals, not much. Basically, the way that it works is you have these various different methods you can hook into, and one of them is on send, and basically it's just like, hey, on method call, and then in what I found is the pattern is then you generate a pattern, and this is Rubocop's own custom defined matching pattern, which can match a whole bunch of different stuff, and then you either detect it or you don't. So that led me down the rabbit hole of, okay, well, what can we do here, and how do you write one of these things? So that brings me, just searching for def node matcher led me to this, a whole bunch of different stuff, and also led me to this, which is the class of node pattern, so which also has some fantastic docs and can tell me how to, write one of these things. Well, in theory. All right, so it looks like def node matcher isn't necessarily tested directly. Oops. Okay, new keyboard. Get rid of that. Node pattern. Okay, so compiler.new. Look for this. Okay. Looks like that's also not tested directly. I have to go into some integration tests here. Yeah, what I really would love is to give it some code and then pass it a pattern and then have it tell me whether or not it matches. So I can kind of start with the smallest part. So this is Rubocop layout. Let's look at the specs. What's that one called? Node pattern? Element OP. No. Element OP is not in there. Node pattern is not in there. Oh, there we go. Node pattern spec. Ha! It is in there. Nice short, only 1,000 lines. Great. Invalid, invalid, invalid. Matching. Okay. Cool. So let's see where this goes. Describe function calls. Okay. So this is a left value assign. Have no idea what a good match is. Maybe node pattern can tell us. Nope. Dot, dot, dot. Send, dot, dot, dot. Matches send, dot, dot, dot. Great. Doesn't really help me. What does dot, dot, dot reference? Like anything or a specific thing? Okay. Compile ellipses. So it looks like it says grab all children, maybe? Not sure. Maybe good match is a... Okay, maybe I could search for hash, but geez. Okay. Hash method. Okay, so they've defined a method here to be good match, which is always going to be true. And then dot, dot, dot. It's interesting. So A equals 1, matching. So this is function calls. Cool. Okay, here we go. So let's just wedge right in here. And I'll start writing a little test I plan on deleting. Okay. Oh, that's non-matching. Let's find them. Well, let's see if we can figure out how to make this matching. Boop. Okay, so we're going to send, I guess it's an array, zip with another array, and then maybe removing that. No clue. Let's just run it and find out. Let me see. Ours. Bundle. Oh, wrong directory. There you go. Bundle. Bundle exec. Our spec. Oh, it's spec, isn't it? Spec. Okay. And then what was the line number? 753. Okay. It behaves like maybe. Let's take a look at the method definition for it behaves like. Def. It behaves like. That's not what I wanted. Okay. So I don't know where that is. So let's use a little metaprogramming, little puts debugging. New keyboard. Switch to an ergodocs, and it is taking me a little while to get used to it. Oh, interesting. So this is a RSpec thing. It comes from example group. It behaves like. Interesting. Examples. It behaves like. Okay. All right. So shared examples is what I'm looking for. Okay. Oh. That makes sense. Why didn't you just say so? All right. Send array. Oh, jeez. Let me see. Well, dot zip. Okay, it failed because we're missing that. Okay, that passed. Let's see. Now I've actually got a list of all of the different, not all, but a lot of the different methods. I actually made a note of it right here. So you can see here's most of the methods that will generate a new array when you call them on an array. And then here are the methods that are called that also have a bang component. So you can call collector, you can call collect bang, you can call compactor, you can call compact bang. So yeah, I guess now that I'm looking at it, this is not we're not looking at types. So we actually, Rubocop I don't think knows. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think Rubocop knows when we're getting an array. Okay, well. But if we're calling .collect, then for sure we can replace it. If we're calling .collect on a, well, yeah, if we're calling .collect on a array literal, then you can definitely replace it. So that actually might make my job a little bit easier. Okay, let's take a look at the other performance cup. Performance count. Okay, so it looks like they're grouping several methods, which is good. I can do that. See if check the docs. Is that what that does? Okay, $sign. Yeah, I don't know why it's $sign. Okay, well, let's just do, here we go, collect or map. Map. Wonder if that works. Fail. Okay. So it looks like I'll be looking for an array literal. Which that's not what they've done here. Okay, they're looking for any call of send, and I'm guessing this is send with a block versus send, regular send. And then this is, they're just looking for those methods. So, I mean, I'm guessing if you have some code that looks like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I'm guessing if you have some code that's like class foo, and it's got def select, and you do something like foo.new.select.first. I mean, assuming that something that's firstable from here, that this will match, even though it's not. It doesn't know it's a array, so I guess it doesn't matter. All right. Still not sure what that $sign does. Arbitrary matching can be performed on a capture. I guess it's whatever you matched first. Okay. So let's take that out. Does that still match? Oh, yeah, right. Just for the sake of trying things. That did not work. Back to, send. I guess I'm betting underscore is saying like whatever the last one was. Let's take a look. Oh, underscore matches anything. Great. Send is what I'm missing. There we go. Come on, big money. Nope. Just copy this whole thing and move it over here so we're not switching back and forth. We'll do the other one as well. It's actually the one I want because I'm not using this with a block just yet. Okay, so this should call select and then whatever dot first, right? That should trigger this. Did not trigger this. Why? Behaves like matching. Let's try this. Right? Isn't that what I wanted? I think that's kind of what I wanted. Yeah, so it returned something. If I change it, change it to foist, that should fail. And I want it to fail, and it should be, yeah, there we go. So, okay, the test is not totally testing what I'm wanting it to. Dot match. Inspect this. Okay, so what I want to do is make that truthy. That works. Great. I'm also going to make a little... okay, there we go. Actual equals that. Since it gives me a little bit more information. So the bang bang there is just going to force it to be truthy. Hello? Did I... Right? I have a puts there. Did I miss something? Why is my puts not showing? Oh, because I added extra lines. I bet that's it. Well, let me see. 5, 7, 53. Thank you. That's not exactly what I wanted. There we go. So it's now 749. It's kind of the problem with puts debugging. Oh, come on, right? No, 756 is what I wanted. There we go. And then we'll change this. Oh, huh. Well, that's weird. Oh, find all. I think that was that it. There we go. All right, I'll just use the whole pattern. Oh, yeah, because the first one is the block's end. There we go. So, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I've got my nice little constants here. What's a bunch of symbols? Instead of %W, I think it's %I maybe. Well, anyway, I'll map to sim. Okay, here we go. Map. And to sim. And it's funny because I could actually replace this and make it a little bit more efficient. But it's keyboard. Okay, there we go. Or I could make this a little bit more efficient by modifying the constant, but then I'd have to use send because you can't modify constants. Or I mean, you can. It'll just yell at you. So what I want is to match any one of these methods, which will guarantee that I have a new array, or an array literal. I could do that, but I think that's probably less common in Ruby. And then match one of these methods. So it just has to be one and then the other, and can be any number of methods chained as long as those are in there somewhere called on the same object. Let me just make sure we got what we think we got. Dot inspect. Okay. So this is actually what I want. I mean, I can clean this up later, but for now we're gonna just do, see if that gives me what I want. Yeah, because it's gonna be a string anyway. Just for funsies, there we go. All right, so I'm going to need to change these to single parens, or these single parens to double parens, I mean. And then change this to this. Okay, and now collect dot first should be matching. Let's try that. Ah, I did not like that. Oh, dot join. I'll give it, needs to be joined with a, there we go. Boom. Okay, so that worked. That first. I'll go ahead and join these just because it'll just be a little cleaner in the implementation for now anyway. Great. And then it hits this. So collect dot compact. Ooh, it does what I want. Already it does what I want. This is good. Let me see, what's a non one? Oh, let's start here. This is great. I thought that was going to be a lot more work. Okay. Let's use the New keyboard. Well, it's not that new. It's like a week old, but it's ortholinear, which I'm not used to. And I'm getting trying new layouts and stuff. Okay, great. So that worked. The next thing we need to do is introduce this. Okay, so yeah, either way, right? I mean, I think I'm just going to start here and move on. Hopefully I'll get some help writing the actual, like, I think this only catches it when the first one has a block. Oh, no, I think it'll catch any of them. Nope, maybe it won't. Oh, they used these little squiggly parens. Squiggly brackets. Squiggly bracket. There we go. Did they do something else? Okay, that one worked. Why doesn't this one work? I need like an or, which I guessed was the squiggly. Yeah, that should be the or. Maybe I did something wrong? Invalid position. Okay. Let's just start over from the beginning instead of trying to parse that. Okay. Oh. This is my source. There we go. Invalid position. Okay, try it without modifying it at all. That works. So now we try to modify it. I bet I just accidentally went one character too far when I was copying and pasting my code. Aha! Great, that works. And then I bet this will work. And then this will work. Hopefully. Aha! Great. Wow. Man, Rubocop. Well, Rubocop's parser, I should say. Little parse language. That is pretty cool. All right, so now that I've got my pattern, I need to figure out how to do something with it. So yeah, I mean, and if you're wondering, like, that would be rewritten as like a is equal to 1, 2, a dot collect, blah, a dot flatten, blah, a dot drop, blah. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't just change them because each of these return if it has the ability to return nil. So you need like nil checks in there. Maybe we could get away with like the and dot in some cases, but I mean that's a little whatever. I'll look into that later. The lonely operator. Okay, so where does this live? This lives in projects Rubocop lib. You know what? I'm going to save this. Nice little, and take a note. don't go too long without taking a note. And what file? How do I run this? Yes, I mean, I know I've got it on disk and stuff, but let's also go ahead and commit to Git as a work in progress, because we made a little bit of progress. Let's see what's in what. Oh, I guess you can't see that. Because my screen is focused on a different part. There you go. Sorry, force a habit. I'm not used to working in such a tiny restricted area. Great, we caught that. I'm gonna get rid of that. This is my change. This is completely irrelevant and actually related to a different thing that I was working on. Great. Whip. It's not important that we name it. It's not even important that we keep it. It's just important that we can get back to it if we need to. Just every once in a while, have these little break points. Take a break, get a drink of water. And, all right, Rubocop, cop performance. Oh, projects, lib, Rubocop, cop, performance, detect. Okay, so now comes a hard part. We have to name something. So we have to name our file. I'm going to call it, this is, we only get this when there's a chain of methods. So it's like chained something. Like, oh, yeah, generally when I'm naming things, I like to do word clouds where I just kind of free associate. Yeah, just free associate, come up with different things. It's chain, it's method, it's new methods, allocation. So you can also modify. Like, that's what we're trying to do. We want to modify in place instead of allocating. Inefficient, redundant. So looking at some of the existing names, case one splat, case comp, count, detect, all those are fixed size, redundant, string replacement, unfreeze string, unneeded sort. So it sounds like some of these are kind of like started with a negative, like unneeded, redundant, a lot of redundance, redundant. Well, flat map is actually kind of trying to do what I'm wanting to do. Man, if I had looked at that first, that's like exactly what I want to do. So, okay. Flat and then map. So some of them also just say what they do. So this is related to only a single method, flat map. So chain array allocation. Well, try that. Here we go. I can always rename it. Boop. So actually, since flat map is so similar, I think it will be anyway. I'll just go ahead and copy it wholesale. There we go. Start deleting stuff. Chain array allocation message. Okay, well, I'm going to delete this later. Personally, I like my privates to be defined on each method. Just because anyway, I'm not gonna critique code. It's not why I'm here, so I'm just gonna delete all this. Great. Autocorrect, gonna delete all that. And just a little placeholder. Going to delete all of that. And put in my pattern. Pattern would have been a good word for it. Great. Great. Actually, I wonder if... Yeah, anyway, again, the point now is not to be perfect. The point is to make progress. So let's see how flat map is tested. .new. Naturally. Flat map. Okay. I'm going to go to GitHub and use blame to see if any tests were added at the same time as flat map. Flat map. Blame is not the correct verb for what I'm doing right now. Add new cop. Great. Please tell me you added a test with this new cop. Spec is spec. RSpec. Okay. All right. Flat map spec. Genius. I should have just tried that. Map spec. That's guessable. Wow. Okay. Shared examples. Map and collect. Great. 100 lines. I'm just going to copy this. All right. Where was that? It's in the exact location you would expect. Spec. I guess not. Rubocop cop. Missed one. There we go. What do we got? Is it performance? And then flat, right? Yeah. There we go. Spec Rubocop cop performance, and then we're going to call this chain. What did I name this thing? Array allocation. Is that even how you spell allocation? Yes, boom. Good. So now we've got two files. One of them. Let's run the second. Great. Okay, so moving it didn't ruin anything. Now we're going to slowly or very abruptly change it. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete all the shared examples but one. These are, let me see, describe. Okay. One shared example. Let's hope this one has map and collect in it. Yes, it does. So, okay. All right. Okay. So that's one call of each. So here's this one, and that's this one. Performance, what do we call this thing? I'm going to regret making it so long. Chain array allocation. Okay. Okay. So, uninitialized constant. Good. Now we need to figure out where to require it. Flat map. That's a good guess by me. Okay, chain array allocation. And I don't know if order matters here. I'm going to put it at the bottom of all of the performance ones. Baby steps. Oh, uninitialized. Oh, would help if we used the same constants here. Flat map spec. What was the name of that? Was it node something? Pattern spec. There we go. There we go. Okay, let me get that into our I'll go ahead and delete this message because I don't think it does anything. Okay, I'm actually so it's good because the test ran. It's bad because, well, it shouldn't have failed because we didn't actually really change all that much. So that is why. It's cop right there. Good old RSpec. Okay. Here we go. Chain array allocation. Two examples, one failure. Config. Okay. So it should catch this. I mean, like, let's copy this code at least. I know we just copied code and then deleted it and then we're copying it again, but whatever. Puts match with an E apparently. Match a. Okay, good. So it's getting matched. Flatten level. Oh, what is this? Oh, I bet this has to do with block, 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 block. Okay, so I don't care about config. Flattens. We'll just go ahead and skip straight to this good stuff, which is a fence from method. On the original node, what is map node is okay, so that's where map was called. I mean, we want to change that. It's not going to be map mode. It's first allocation, I guess. I don't even know what this means. First method, flatten method. Let's see if this is a user defined or it's built in. Great, it's built in. Oh wow, this is long. Okay. Register offense. Oh, that's even longer. Let's just skip straight to this. Make it even as easy as humanly possible. None of this fancy stuff. Can add it later. Yeah, I think actually. Anyway, I'm not gonna code golf that. Format. Oh, I hate this. Some key press I have triggers this. I think it's trying to run the file. I haven't figured out what does it. So add offense, I'm assuming, is built in. Format, I'm assuming, is built in. Great. And then message. Format. Let's go back to our original message. So it looks like format replaces these with, I mean, so there's like a little named section. It's fine. Let's start off with this. Simple, hopefully, anyway. Okay, flatten, flatten. Whoa, 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 whoa. That does not look right. Little copy pasta error there. Boop. MSG, which is supposedly actually not as bad for you as people thought, or not bad for you at all, unless you have an allergy, in which case you can't even have like soy sauce or wheat bread. Okay, so what are we calling them? Method and second method. Great. Allocation. What did I do? Why did I call this that? Okay. Just a reference. Okay, so that's the original reference. Map node, first method, great. Second method. Let's try that. Range, where's range? R-A-N-G-E, range help. Location. I don't know. Figure that out later. Okay, well, let's flatten and then map. It should, right? This should detect. Rubocop. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I wish I had a little bit more width. Gonna get rid of that. Gonna indent that. Add a fence, and I mean, it's definitely being called, right? Okay. Yeah, it's definitely getting called. Oh, that's just the name of it. There's a failure. There's an error. Second method not found. Ooh, okay. Flat map. First method, flatten. Okay. Let's take a look at all of these. Oh. Forgot to change the key. I bet that's what that was. Malform string. Great. Cool, cool, cool. Oh. Define method range. This is kind of annoying. I don't know what range is. I don't care what range is. We're going to go with this. We're going to get rid of that. And hopefully that gets rid of our pesky error. Warning. Ooh. Okay, this is what I want. I want you back. I also want all my changes back. There we go. Go debugging, go. And that would be my dogs. All right, so I decided to kind of backtrack things a little bit And originally we were basing our code off of the detect performance cop, and then I kind of switched gears and started basing it off of the flat map. So instead, I think I'm going to go back to the the detect cop, and see what they're doing, and try to follow those patterns instead. So first method and second method. Detect. Let's see this. No, I don't know. Maybe that's not the right way to go. Okay. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Ugh. Oh yeah, this is what I was running into. Use flat map instead of flatten. It's actually giving me the node itself as opposed to the name. So in flat map, let's follow the pattern. Register offense. Yeah, I guess I don't get where these, like, this is coming from. I assume it's being matched somehow in here. Is that the dollar sign, maybe? Yeah, I think that's what that is. The dollar sign. So for me, I want to match this thing. I don't think I care about that. I do want to match this thing, though. Right? If I understand this correctly. So weird. All right. So I'm doing the first method, which is map, and then the second method, and then whatever else. I don't even know. We're just gonna, I'll just admit that I don't even know what that is. Try that. Great. go. This is an OK thing. That's an OK error, I think. OK message. Let's check. What line is that coming from? Line 7. No. Come on. Let's try that out for size. Boop. Okay. Oh, hey. That's actually all I care about. All right. Run that test. Okay, doesn't matter. I don't need to test that. That's config. Great. Great, great, great. So I think this works. Another whip commit. Go back and clean up things in a bit. I need to get rid of that puts. Where are you? I mean, ideally it'd be better if I cleaned up some of this commented out code too, but for now, just gonna whip it. Whip keyboard. There we go. All right, now the thing I'm really after is I want to get into the Rails code base and see what this looks like. Okay. Let's see. Rubo. Performance. Here we go. Performance slash, what does I call this? Chain. It's pretty bad if I can't even remember. Chain array allocation. Okay, it's fair. I think that's technically what it is. When in doubt, copy and paste. Enabled. True. And then, so that's what I need to do, and then I need to change the gem file to point at. Ooh. Okay, good. I was wondering if maybe it's pointing at an older version, but it's not. So I'm going to point this at a path locally. Mine happens to be at documents, projects, Rubocop. Okay, gonna try that. Bundle install. Hopefully this works. Great. Increase font a little bit there. The moment of truth. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, it's catching something. Just imagine Yakety Sax is playing right now. This is kind of beautiful. Hopefully each one of these is a location where we are 103 offenses. Oh, that is music to my performance ears. Action mailer vase. Yeah, see, like .unique.map. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I love it. I think this worked. Map.select. Let's see this. Let's try this one. Okay. What line was that on? Line 30. Boop. Oh yeah. I mean, it's even better. I mean, I guess if we could just tell it all of the different things that generate arrays, we could even go deeper, right? Like this is the thing that generated the array. So we can say log, and then log.map and log.select log. Oh, beautiful. I mean, the code's not as pretty, but hey, guess what? It's faster. Like, actually, I mean, if we wanted to, we could. No. Okay, I was going to say we could truncate that. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I didn't expect that this would work out this well in the first place. Oh, so good. Ugh. Okay, so some of those are my fault. You're supposed to be using double quoted strings. Yeah, and then what else are we doing? We're not capturing. There are some that work with a only if you pass a value into it. There's some methods that will return a new array, but only if you pass a certain value into it. Like first, if you passed a number that is not 1, then actually I'm not even sure if you pass 1 into it, it might give you an array. But if you pass a number into the first method on array, it will give you a new array. So I mean, I could add that as a new. I think I could just add that as a new thing, a new matcher. Ah, this is so beautiful. Yeah, I mean, like here even, it's like this introduces the new array. It's like, but we didn't even. Oh, actually, I guess it's dot values introduced to the new array, so we can call like flatten and then map. Okay, great. So I'm actually kind of a little sick right now and really tired, so I'm probably going to go take a nap. But that's phenomenal for, I guess, what? This was about an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes worth of work to find, a bunch of different areas where we can save memory and save CPU time. Now, granted, they're not always going to be huge savings. So if each, Rubocop can only tell me that these things get called, not how often they get called. So stuff like actually strong parameters and params wrappers probably get called, like once a request or so. This one, remote IP, definitely at least once a request. Yeah, I mean, like, we can remove two. We can remove two arrays there. And some of the stuff with Journey, like, well, a lot of it's compiled. But yeah, I mean, we won't really know what the savings are until we've done all of it. And then what I can do is I've got derailed benchmarks. I can run it against my app co-triage before the change and then after the change and see what the see what the object savings are, see what the memory savings are. And that's kind of one thing I like about the approach of having a rule like this in Rubocop is previously, if you wanted to make a performance improvement, you had to say, here's the current benchmark, here's why it's faster, and here's why it's okay that the code is worse, right? Like in the case I just did, I would say, where is it? in this log.rake, like this is not as pretty. This is not as nice versus like this is what it was originally. That's, that's just gorgeous. That's like a little minus the, I don't know why it's indented 4 spaces. I guess that's so the dots align. Anyway, I mean, if I was going to golf it, I would probably do that. But anyway, yeah, so we're essentially trading a little bit of readability and code succinctness for some performance. And anytime you are doing that, you have to argue for it a little bit. And so if we can come up with some of these standards and just say, you know what, it doesn't matter, like every single time this is faster, like we can let the linter arbitrate this, and whether it's saving us one array allocation, or it might not even be used at runtime, right? Like this is tasks release.rb. Sorry, this, but this is, I'm assuming this is not ever used at runtime, or the Rails info controller. I actually made a bunch of changes to that. DB console, definitely not used at runtime. Test unit, scaffold generator. Yeah, a lot of these are, I wouldn't say false positives, but not going to be that impactful. However, if there is one that can be impactful, then we will catch it. And that is, that's nice. And it's I like that as an approach to speeding things up. And then, yeah, I'm going to consider, like right now, this is not in a shippable state, right? Like all of the, there's a bunch of things that are messed up. All of the comments are kind of all over the place. I don't necessarily know what the next steps are. Maybe go through and manually fix 103 different things inside of Rails to speed them up. Yeah, maybe. And see if and how we could make this a little bit better. It seems like this is a common one that's called is like the instance methods. Anyway, I think once that's in a good spot, like that's really, I wanted this tool to scratch my own itch. And then taking it the next step would be opening up a PR to Rubocop, hopefully getting some help from them, getting some feedback, improving it. Like if we can make it so that this thing could be auto-corrected, that would be super killer. Because like, how amazing would it be if you could just write one command and like Rubocop autocorrect, and it would go from this to, oh, I messed that up with you saw it before. And then it's just faster and is saving array allocations. And need to look into lazy enumerators. And at this point in time, I'm just rambling. So thank you all for bearing with me. And yeah, hopefully you can enjoy some faster libraries as a result of this coming to a code base near you. Adios.